Hey everyone, it's Derek here with Members for Members. We're going to be discussing the recent delegate election, the rerun, fines that were imposed, disqualifications, everything, so everyone understands what took place. Everyone's a little confused. You get to file protest, which we did. Both sides can file protest. Just so you understand, these protests have hearings. They're done over the phone. They're not done in court. There is a judge. She was appointed by Jimmy Hoffa, as well as the district attorney in New York. Okay, just to give you an idea who the players are. People were asking me, what does Jimmy Hoffa have to do with any of this? Just kind of gives you an idea, okay? So first things first, we had a delegate by the name of Norman Salceda, okay? He was a delegate on our team. He's a shop steward at a UPS San Marcos. We filed our first protest. It's ESD 35. When I say ESD, those are the cases, okay? He was removed as a shop steward, guys. On the same day, he was handing out leaflets in conjunction with the O'Brien-Zuckerman international election that's coming up, okay? This is retaliation because, we know our local supports the Herrera-Verma slate. You guys have every right to pick who you want, support whatever slate you want. You vote for whoever you want, okay? In this case, they removed him on the same day he was doing that, okay? This is a clear retaliation. The election supervisor, they had 10 days to figure this case out, right? Well, it took them 16 days, okay? They remanded the decision because we had to appeal this case, okay? They said that Jamie Vasquez, that is, said Norman Salceda uses a confrontational approach, therefore he had to be removed as a shop steward. And they don't believe in confrontational approaches. I had to explain to the judge and the investigators, because I do run the hearings on our side for members, and I do go against attorneys, okay? Just to give you an idea how this works. I had explained to them that our local's been using the confrontational approach 2 out of the last 3 years, and they were found guilty in federal court for threatening members. Norman Salceda, there's nothing, and I mean nothing, to prove he's done anything wrong. We asked for all evidence. It has to be provided at the hearing. There's no emails from any disgruntled members. There's nothing. Therefore, this is a false allegation, guys, by Jamie Vasquez. This is a huge problem, right? When you're running these false allegations, you get fined and disqualified. So that's number one, okay? So we're going to move over to EST 73. Business agent Shelly Alsop over at US Foods. She didn't put the nomination meeting results. She didn't put them up in the break room, guys. It has to be up by a certain date. She was a day late. She claimed she was sick, but yet she was still doing it in other places. The investigator actually took her side and said, no, nothing wrong. I know she was late, but you know what, guys? She's late. Who cares? No fine. Pay attention to that. In case ESD 81, Jamie Vasquez once again filed a protest claiming Craig Chappell, our delegate, campaigned at a Costco in San Marcos. He was actually shopping with his wife, and he produced his receipt. There's no evidence of him campaigning, but business agent Mike West, who's up there, he was the one that claimed he saw this. Yet all the people we know at Costco said Mike West was campaigning in the break room all the time. But no, that's not a violation. He wasn't fined. Again, this is a false allegation. Okay, that's number 2. In ESD 106, Jamie Vasquez, once again, has been a principal officer for Local 542 since 2008. He filed a protest. He claimed that some of the members were wearing shirts and hats, supporting members for members at the workplace, right? Especially Norman Salceda. Well, as a part-time in a warehouse, you can wear whatever you want, guys. He should know that. He's been there since 2008. This was a clear waste of the investigator's time. He falsely asserting that Norman violated a rule, retaliating against him one more time. I mean, you're making it a little too obvious. This protest adds to the increasing evidence that this protester, Jamie Vasquez, makes false allegations both in protest documents and in protest investigations. False statements constitute a failure to cooperate with the election supervisor. Article 13, Section 2G. Okay, guys? Jamie didn't receive a fine, nor was he disqualified, okay? Pay attention, that's 3 of them. In case ESD 86, Edmund Swank, who's a shop steward at Costco Marina, also an alternate delegate from members' first slate, was found guilty of violating election rules by handing out slate stickers to members, where they then posted on the Costco lockers. He compounded that violation by failing to take prompt action to remove the stickers himself once he saw that they had been put up in the lockers. His failure to accept responsibility for his actions compounded the strict liability the rules already placed on him and his slate. He refused, guys. This guy refused to comply. That's a big deal. When you refuse to comply, you can actually get disqualified. Yet he wasn't even fined or disqualified. In case ESD 100, members first slate delegate and business agent Dwayne Garrett was observed by many of us on our slate campaigning at UPS in Yuma, Arizona. We watched as he handed a campaign flyer to an employee who was on the clock while another shop steward held campaign posters inside the building. We actually had video of this, yet we were told Dwayne was just discussing a grievance while the employee was on the clock. This is what the investigator told us, and that's also a violation. The person's working. We actually witnessed his campaigning, but our charges denied due to the fact they said our video was only 17 seconds, even though it shows it, but our video was 3 minutes. The shop steward was, they confirmed he was in violation, right? Let's see. Yeah, he wasn't fined, guys. Okay, it's very important. This is a shop steward who was found in violation. He was not fined. Okay, now we're going to move over to ESD 98. Member and shop steward who support our slate, Eric Robinson, who was just a witness to my protest, that the worksite list was inaccurate that Local 542 gave us. They gave us a address for a water plant, guys, on 14th Street. We went there. It was a residential area. We actually found on N Street. It was across a railroad track. It was nowhere even near there. Eric is not even on our slate, nor did he make a false accusation because he was actually never interviewed by the investigator, Deborah Schaff, yet he was fined, okay? This was obvious disparage treatment. Eric Robinson's character, reputation, and integrity was assassinated, and he's a shop steward. Eric and I have over 40 years of delivery experience, and the investigator lives in New York, yet we were told we couldn't find the location of the water plant, but she said she could from a distance. That's in a report, guys. I could see the moon from a distance. Doesn't mean I know the location. Okay? I was there. So in case ESD 102, we are being charged with making a false allegation about the Costco 401 employee club being funded by Costco. If a thorough investigation was actually done by the investigator, you would have clearly seen that in the post on Facebook page, they referenced that Costco had members vote on the disbanding of the employee club to save Costco money in the December 3rd, 2020 post. It also clearly states that it's a program at Costco. Members pay to be in this club. I wonder where the fees go. In ESD 81, our delegate, Javier Sanchez, who works at Costco Marina, he filed a protest alleging that a coworker violated rules by wearing a Teamsters sweatshirt to work while they're working. Javier is denied this charge, citing that a labor relations official deemed the shirt acceptable. He's won labor charges in the past because he couldn't wear any union stuff, okay? He can wear members for member stuff. They told me he could not, absolutely not. In the analysis, it is stated that unless the employer forbids such apparel, okay? Costco's contract clearly states in Article 15 that union members shall have the right to wear their official union buttons. No buttons, clothing, or accessories of political or controversial nature are authorized, okay? This was obviously not thoroughly investigated when we informed them of this, okay? And Javier was fined for this. Think about it. He was right, but he was fined. In ESD 104, Michael Miller called me on March 18th to discuss incidents at Praxair, LBC, and the City Hall in Imperial Valley. Michael informed me that the employees at City Hall claimed that I went into their break room and left campaign flyers in there. I explained to him that the shop stewards and management have long-standing relationships with the members firstly. Therefore, they will stretch the truth. In other words, they're going to lie. To illustrate my point further, I submitted as evidence a video illustrating how the members at the City Hall asked for the flyers when I was standing outside, and I actually left them on the table outside for them. So this claim was a false allegation, but no fine was imposed. Michael then informed me that he didn't even ask for the video that I sent him. It was voluntary. Oh, I know, Michael, it's voluntary because I'm trying to prove my point. I didn't go in. Michael then asked me how many work sites how it campaigned at. I told him we've campaigned at least 30 to 40 places. He then said, oh, okay, you've been in 30, 40 break rooms? I had explained, no, Michael, I didn't say in 30 to 40 break rooms. I said at 30, 40 facilities. I told him Praxair, LBC, and Costco San Marcos. I explained that I was directed to go into the Costco San Marcos by their supervisor. I was asked if I misrepresented myself. I told him no. I always introduced myself as a member of Local 542. I always wore my members for members black shirt. So they were saying, well, you guys didn't appeal this, right? So the decision ESD 104 was not appealed, thus it's final and binding with respect to its factual and legal determinations. Election supervisor illegally fined members of our slate under LMRDA U.S. Code Title 29, Section 529. I explained this at the hearing. This violation of the law affected the outcome of the election by effectively discouraging further protests and appeals. The claim by the election supervisor that fines were imposed to serve as a remedial purpose is a false statement. Fines were imposed to discourage a fair election. We were discouraged from making more protests by fines and claims that we were making false protests and giving false evidence, guys. Election supervisor hasn't been fair and objective with our members from member slate at any point. Yeah, remedial purpose is what he's saying. Yeah, everyone, I was fined $500. It's remedial. They were never fined. Just to give you an idea. On ESD 109, it is stated that we are not comprised of rookie campaigners yet. One of our delegates has ever even been in a delegate election. He didn't get a campaign due to his schedule. The rules in this election differ in some aspects as far as campaigning in the break rooms, according to Michael Miller, okay? Yeah, we've been in an officer's election, but we know the law permits us to campaign in our own break rooms at our own companies. Michael Miller told me and Delegate Javier Sanchez that we're not allowed to do this. This is a clear violation of our rights under Section 7 of the NLRA, guys. So there was definitely a lot of confusion regarding break rooms in this election. We got emails from Michael Miller. He's telling us we can't go in. It's actually law. Allows us. It permits us to go into our own break rooms at the companies we work at. Miller claims that none of the members from Member Slate contacted him about campaign rights. This is a false statement once again. Javier and I contacted him, but we became dissatisfied with his disregard to the law, Section 7 of the NLRA. Javier emailed Miller with questions regarding break rooms, etc. on March 27th. We have those emails. In ESD 109, it states that the admissions by the members from Member Slate candidates that they entered a large number of employer workplaces, many more than the 4 investigated in 104, is another reason why we cannot certify this election, okay? So they're saying, guys, you had to have a rerun because you guys said you went into more than 4 places. No, we didn't. At no point did we admit to campaigning in break rooms, nor did we admit to entering many more than 4. These were all false statements made by Michael Miller. In regards to Praxair, notice how Miller accuses me of leaving campaign flyers in the break room after I went in to check a board. The manager claims that they found flyers in there, okay? Remember now, we hand out flyers outside. You guys see that all the time. Where you guys take those flyers, we don't know. You can take them everywhere. And that's the problem here. So they're saying, oh, well, if we found a flyer in there, then you were campaigning in there. Okay. Investigator Mike Miller claimed that we told him that we went into 40 break rooms. And that, then he contradicts that. This is in a statement here by reporting that we admitted to attempting to access up to 10 break rooms. Well, which one is it? His own report is contradicting. And I'd explain that in the hearing. If you're going to claim we went into 40, then you're going to say, well, actually, you said you were trying to get into 10. Well, which one is it? And this is the issue we were having, guys, okay? In ESD 102, I'm quoted as saying a former or current supervisor directed members to vote for members first slate at Costco, okay? Yeah. They're saying I made a false statement. I didn't make a false statement. He was a former supervisor. There is nothing wrong with what I said. Again, they're saying I lied. No, he was a former supervisor. That's a fact. In ESD 109, it states that the union, our local, follow the rules. Its officers, employees, whether they were candidates or not, they all follow the rules. This actually says this in a report. This is a completely false statement. Please reference ESD 73, 86, and 100. It's a blatant lie. It's embarrassing. They were found guilty, okay? In ESD 109, it is stated that it is the maximum theoretically possible effect of the violations which must be determined. The election supervisor determines mathematically whether the effect was sufficient in scope to affect the outcome of the election and or whether there was causal connection between the violation and the result or outcome of the election. Okay? Yeah, there are a lot of effects. I mean, removing our steward, our delegate, and then telling people that he's an issue and that's why he was removed, and you don't remedy that ESD 35, I think we have a problem. So in summary, did members make mistakes in gaining access into 3 break rooms? Absolutely. But it was 3. We were fined for this, okay? We did not campaign in these break rooms. We did not misrepresent ourselves, nor did we give out false allegations. I firmly believe our inexperience was on display as far as that goes, but some of that was actually attributed to false information that was being provided us by Michael Miller. This guy said we couldn't go in our own break rooms. It's against the law. We complied by stopping the action of going to break rooms after I spoke to Miller on March 18th. We actually complied, unlike the shop steward over at Costco, who never complied, failed. He actually refused to comply. Were there violations by the members first slate? Absolutely. Were they fined for false allegations made? Nope. Were they disqualified for violations and not complying with the investigator's orders? No. I believe this election was affected more so by the actions of members first slate delegates and shop stewards named Jamie Vasquez, Dwayne Garrett, and Nate Swink. We feel that the investigator, Mike Miller, made too many false statements in this investigation. And this, as well as Jamie Vasquez's false allegations, had the greatest impact on this election. We did not feel a rerun was necessary, nor did we believe any one of the members from Member Slate should have been disqualified. I mean, we won this thing straight up. This was obvious disparage treatment. Local 542 asked for a rerun, guys. That cost us 29 grand. We didn't ask for a rerun. They did, yet they were telling people we cost the members 29 grand. We're pretty disappointed also in that hearing and that there was name calling. We had an attorney calling me names. The judge never objected to it. So there's a problem right there. So here's my advice to anyone who chooses to run in any election, guys. Please record all conversations, interviews you have with any election supervisor, etc. Just inform them that your conversation will be recorded. If you don't, the election supervisor can create his or her own narrative. That's a fact, and that happened. So please record it. Local tells members that we, members for members, are dividing the union. How many times have you heard those guys are going to divide the union? Check the facts, guys. In 2016 delegate election, 670 members voted. That was it. That's all that participated. 2021 delegate election, 1,294 members voted. More than double participated because we are out there on our own time educating members. Ask yourself, did you even know what a delegate election was prior to this? Has your local even taught you what it is? No, because they don't want you to run. It's your right, guys. Remember, we all have the right to run in any election. It's your right as a member. Also, remember how the members were treated. How were we treated by our local executive board, the BAs, their shop stewards, guys? Creating flyers with our pictures, demeaning us, defaming our character. That's called dividing a union. You guys saw it. I'm glad you got to see that. There's obviously no brotherhood or sisterhood there, guys. I really felt the shop stewards were pretty embarrassing too, being out there defaming our characters. These are people that actually have to know the rules, the law, and there they were, wasting your time and my time defaming people's characters. A clear embarrassment, guys. But I'm so glad you got to learn a lot. You guys know what a delegate election is. The international election's coming up. You got to see how our local actually treats the members. I thought this was great. Great experience. So I think it works out for everyone. Thanks for checking in, guys. I'll talk to you soon.